Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. I'm here with Allison, and this is Maintaining Frame number 132. That Thot Slop is the new Shakespeare.
Mm.
We got a
Or girl slop. You could say girl slop.
Girl slop. No, it's hip slop.
It's hip slop.
It's trashy music, which is basically just music these days. Those darn kids, get off my lawn, yells at Cloud, all of that. I thought I could keep up, but you guys lost me in the 2020s. I just can't do it in terms of music. But so who tell us about this? What we're going to be talking about? Like who sent it to us, and then all the things and whatever.
All right, so this is a request by Karan Strong, so he wants us to cover. In the previous Beat Saber, he got me to play this song, and now he wants me to cover this discussion of the song. So why don't we just
so there's a new pop song on the market. Are we going into the time codes that he sent?
Well, if you have time codes for this, we'll go through that. And then he has a couple additional time codes that he sent. So if we have time before you have to leave, we'll take a look. No promises, though. No promises.
Yeah. So before we get started, I guess
do the things. And then, all right. We are doing our monthly fundraiser at feedthebadger.com/support. So if you want to help out to make sure we can continue to create this content, please do so there. And if you want to send us a tip at any time throughout the show, please do so at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. It's the very best way for you to send us whatever funds you want to send us, and have a bit of space to also send a comment if you wish. So feedthebadger.com/justthetip. I'll hand it back to you, Brian.
All right. I did get a super chow a couple days ago.
Nausea, so I might dash off.
There was a so I got a super chow on Christmas from the Great Indoors that we didn't get to. It was like after I ended the show. So I'm going to read it out really quick. So he gave us $5 and he says, if there was something that men could do and take responsibility for in response to current societal woes, they would already be doing that, and we would be well underway into fixing those problems. But I think men can only play defense and thus not play along, so to speak. This is the strongest card they can play. Ironically enough, when taking into account all the girl boss fantasies that we see all around us in the culture, it is in women's court where the ball lies and needs to be played. But in order to play the ball, they need to acknowledge accountability and responsibility, and that is where we come to a halt. And I think this was in reference to we were doing our Christmas thing on X, and it was an X space, and it became a discussion about how, men are the problem. Men have to do something to change things. They have to take power back. They have to just get in there, suck it up, whatever. And we were just like, yeah, we've been saying this for like 100 years and things have only gotten worse. So maybe we could change it up a little bit and maybe ask women to step up or take away their rights. I'm just saying, like, if they're not going to step up, then they shouldn't have power. So,
yeah, I mean, honestly, that's just logic and reality. But I mean, maybe it isn't the group of people who have regularly sacrificed their lives to the defense of society that really need to sacrifice more. I mean, and here's the thing. It's this combination of this idea that society exists for the benefit of men. Therefore, men are like this infinite Pez dispenser of sacrifice and guilt to engage in that sacrifice. So there's this infinite Pez dispenser. Men always have something that they haven't given the rest of us, basically. You see what I mean? And so we have to shame them into giving it. And it's like, well, maybe they don't. Maybe society isn't built for the benefit of men, which means they don't have an extra like gold vault in reserve somewhere that they're just holding out on us. Maybe they've given all they can, and now we need to look to the people who we never blame. Or at least only every time we talk about blaming women is when we say that we shouldn't do it. But as you know, I, for one, blame women. And I will continue to blame women, and you can't stop me. All right.
So we're gonna be looking
This is cool.
at this video from a YouTube channel called Professor Skye. Well, the guy, I guess his name is Professor Skye, and he reviews music. And there were two videos. One is like an hour and 20 minutes, and I'm
He
sorry,
looks
but
no.
he looks what?
He looks like he needs a cup of coffee.
Yeah, he looks a little tired. And then the other one is shorter. It's about 20 minutes. But he's talking about a song by an artist named Charli XCX, who I guess is from New Zealand. And it's called
Mhm.
The Girl's So Confusing, I think. And there were two versions. There was her normal version, and then she did a remix of the song with another artist named Lorde, who's also a woman, Lorde, and he's doing an analysis of it. And basically, well, let's just did you listen? You okay? So the song that Great Indoors requested is not this song, but it is the same artist. So the one that you did
Yeah.
on the Beat Saber stream is not the same, but it's a
Mm.
similar style. It's the same artist, but this is from her newer album. And I guess, well, let's just listen to this clip where he's talking about like the reason Charli XCX had Lorde on to do a kind of remix of the song, and they were basically singing it together or something. And I
Mm.
listened to the song because I figured I should have all the context. And he is talking about the lyrics and how like really important and meaningful all this is, and this has something to do with women being victims. Okay, so let's go.
So when this remix came out, it was a little bit lost on me because I wasn't like Kendrick popping up on a Drake song. It was just sort of like, oh, okay. So I did a little bit of research, and through an Entertainment Weekly article, I found one of the sources of the beef that exists. And if you have not seen this interview before, you are welcome. Okay, this is someone named Priscilla who's doing this interview. I don't know if this is some kind of Borat Ali G thing here, but this is one of the funniest interviews with Charli XCX that you will ever see. Okay, here it is.
I have to say.
All right, so he just holds up a laptop. So just pausing there. So this is Charli XCX on the right and the interview on the left. I'm just gonna let this clip play. Here we go. You're not sorry, Great Indoors.
That I love your music. One of my favorite songs that you have is Royals. Where did you get the inspiration for that? Royals came from, just me looking at like how I'm from New Zealand, from like a small town, and like I'm not really part of that bougie.
Why are you so excited,
lifestyle.
sir?
I don't know. Some people have a thing with celebrity culture, and this is I don't know. He is like weirdly excited, and he's like a married man supposedly. So, but let's keep going. So she's
Well,
like,
and I'm not even like I'm wondering if it's like my identity is about to be affirmed. I am the one good man.
oh, I don't know.
It's like I'm
I don't
gonna
know.
get a cookie.
Let's go back
All right,
just a
let's go.
little bit because I want you to hear her little story about like what the song is
Being
about.
from
Okay?
New Zealand.
No, like
My
no, I'm
apologies
not.
that you're from New
It's
Zealand.
it's essentially I'm not like the other girls. So let's listen.
And like I'm not really part of that bougie
Bougie.
lifestyle culture, so I thought I'd write a song about it. Now your most recent song.
So,
Get that
to
thing out of
me-
your mouth.
She's sucking on a
She's sucking on a
lollipop.
lollipop. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean I'm sucking on a mint, but that's only because I'm feeling nauseous. So this is
Mhm.
not helping. God damn. This yeah. So she's just sitting there in a supposedly professional context sucking on a lollipop.
Supposedly.
Yeah, but men need to stop playing games. It's immature. Oh, good lord. Okay, let's keep
Well,
going.
wasn't there like a famous clip of Britney Spears years ago, and she was on like CNN or 60 Minutes or something, and she was chewing gum really loud, and
Mhm.
so this isn't like a new thing, but I don't know, man. Like for me, I think all of this is fake, and they're all just playing characters, and everyone is supposed to go along with it, and like is this really the first time that a female pop star did an interview and said, "Oh, I just don't get like this high society bougie culture. I'm just so normal and weird, and here's my t-shirt, and I'm eating candy
Aren't
just
they
like
all?
other girls. And yeah, I
I
know
mean,
it's like
it's like the
there's
it's like that classic scene in The Life of Brian. And he
Mhm.
says, "You're all individuals. You all can think for yourselves." And the entire crowd responds, "We're all individuals. We all can think for ourselves." And then there's one guy in the crowd that says, "I'm not."
All right. Let's
Oh,
keep going. So the important setup stuff here.
You know, that first of all makes me fall in love with Charli XCX, not in a weird internet way, but just like in a oh my god, that's great, right? Like just the way that she rolled with it. But apparently, when Royals came out at the time, and this is according to Charli XCX and other interviews, she felt jealous. You know, she felt like, well, this person kind of looks like me. We do the same kind of eyeliner or whatever, or eye makeup. I don't really understand makeup. I did
wow.
work for Urban Decay for
Jeez, that's a lot of signifiers of individuality there. Our makeup is the same. We're exactly the same. I'm sure there's others.
He's building up to something.
Okay.
So let's let him build up.
very brief period of time, but that's as much as I understand about makeup. And it's just this interesting moment where like she was jealous. She was jealous of the success that Lord had. And that's the thing, you know, when I talk
Okay,
about this
just
being
stop for a
exactly
second. So Charli is jealous of Lord.
Yeah, celebrity A is jealous of celebrity B. And this is an
Okay.
important discussion that
I
we
think
all have to
envious is the
have.
correct.
Well, envious perhaps. Yeah, I mean,
I think jealous is more possessive. Envy is more I want what you have.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah. That's a minor point. Let us continue.
all right.
the same and completely different. Well, musically, I've listened to them back to back, and maybe the tempo is slightly higher. Maybe A.G. Cook added like a
Are you
little
almost saying
extra
something
buzz.
a little snide here? Like you're basically
No,
saying the music is the same, or
he's trying to say that I guess there are two versions of the song, and one is slightly different because it's a remix. And he's saying they're fairly similar, but that's not the point. That's not it yet. We're not there yet. Let's give it another
the
moment.
problems
Let's
of
try to
young
get
women
there.
trying
Yeah.
to carve out their own set of resources without actually exiting the crowd, trying to be individuals while still having the security of the crowd.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
To one of the sounds, but as far as I can tell, it's exactly the same song. Feel free to tell me in the comments. The cover you'd think would be a picture of Lord with Charli, but it's not. It's Charli XCX looking in the mirror, which is perfect. Mirror, watch my. If you haven't seen my video about Brat, check it out. That's one of my better videos this year. I go all into it. I'm talking Picasso. It's a fun video. Tell me in the comments if you've seen it. It's a stupid thing to ask. Don't tell me in the comments. Whatever you do, don't tell me in the comments if you.
He's just shut up. Let's just jump to the next bit.
Yeah,
He's
let's try to get
he's
some
just
content.
getting a little he's waffling, and I want to get to the
There's
bit
some
about
blather
the
incoming.
mirror. So I'll just go to like right here, I think. Okay.
Sisterhood. How do you do that?
Wait, a little bit back.
Right? How confusing it is, and how hard it is to overcome that and have some sense of true sisterhood. How do you do that in patriarchy, especially when women are invariably, constantly pit against each other?
Wait. Okay, so patriarchy pits women against each other. I was worrying that we weren't going to get a payload, but yeah, here we go. It's patriarchy that pits women against each other. Patriarchy.
Yep.
If men didn't exist, women would live in a perfect utopia of cooperation and belonging, because as we can see, lesbians have the lowest rate of divorce and domestic violence and sexual assault of all the couples, gay men, straight people. Lesbians are really just floating on top of all of us. It's totally not like I think it was which not Louis C. The other guy, the comedian who's really popular recently. He did a shtick on lesbians. Going in.
Shane Gillis,
No. Oh,
a
goddamn.
popular comedian
A
today.
popular comedian that pokes fun at women.
Well, there's a lot of them now. There is.
That must be patriarchy pitting
It's coming
women
back. Like
against each
comedy
other.
is on the it's
The
returning.
upswing?
It's not
That's
coming
good.
from where you expect, but there's definitely Andrew Schultz, Shane Gillis, in a way, that was somebody else. Leonarda Joni is a female comedian. She's ham. She goes ham. But
I
anyway.
really should know this guy's name because he's Bill Burr.
Oh,
Bill
Bill
Burr.
Burr. He's
Gay
I
guys
don't
are
know.
happier than lesbians. He's totally
Yeah.
full of shit with that. He's totally full of
Yeah.
shit. Like he's not actually making an observation. He describes how if you go into a lesbian bar, you don't look at the young lesbians, you look at the old lesbians, and they look like they've just been through the freaking ringer. You know, they had some kind of horrible traumatic event. They're just sitting there with the greasy hair, chain smoking cigarettes and knocking back shots. And it's like, well, that must be bullshit, except it isn't. Statistically, lesbian relationships are the most destructive and the most likely to be destroyed. And where's the patriarchy? Where's the patriarchy? How can you blame the patriarchy on that? I mean, how can you blame that on the patriarchy? Right? So it's convenient because if you blame the patriarchy, if women are engaging in an activity that is unpleasant, nasty, destructive, and you blame the patriarchy, conveniently, you don't actually have to change the actions you're taking that are causing this destructive behavior. So it's the very existence of blaming the patriarchy that ensures that women do not take responsibility for how they treat other women. And yet this guy is asserting that it's the patriarchy. No, it's not.
Well, it has to be, because basically it's affecting people in a negative way. That must be patriarchy. Otherwise, we would live in a utopia. It would be heaven on earth.
Basically,
weren't for men.
whenever women do something that they should take responsibility for, you appeal to patriarchy to just remove their agency, right? If they ever do anything negative, patriarchy did it. But if you think about it, that means women never change or get better.
They can blame patriarchy for lesbian.
Yeah, but they still but you can
violence.
blame patriarchy.
Yeah,
but she'll never change or get better. Like the situation will never improve. Women will still engage in the same shit that they engage in with each other.
Yeah, but if you blame patriarchy, you get to feel good about saying that. You don't have these people don't actually want to fix any problems. They just want to be able to be the one that identifies it and stands on the moral high ground while things get worse because it won't affect them personally.
And also when he's talking about patriarchy, these are two women in a competitive field. Is that what he means? You know, that they're pit against each other because they're competing? Well, okay, but here's the thing. If you want to be on top, that means you have to command a lot of attention. That means you're competing with other people who also want to be atop and command that attention. Like, how do you get away from that? Otherwise, it doesn't it's like the only way that you get all of this stuff is through competition because it's a scarce resource. Huge amounts of attention aren't just laying around on the ground to be picked up. And it's not patriarchy that makes them scarce. It's the fact that it's just functionally scarce. You see what I'm saying? You're competing over a scarce resource. So yes, you're going to have competition if you want that scarce resource. It's not nothing to do with patriarchy. It has to do with what they want, what these women want.
He's going to expand on that, I think. So let's listen to some more.
Let's see if he recovers from this bullshit. This deep well. Oh, okay. All right.
Constantly
your snickering does not fill me with
you give
confidence.
men 10 spots, you give women 1 spot, and then they fight, and then everyone comments on it and say, oh, that's just how women are. No, that's not.
The patriarchy gives men 10 spots.
Yeah, don't you know that the top 11 musicians that female musicians are actually men, and then there's one woman.
I wouldn't be surprised in today's day and age, but
no, I don't. No, that hasn't happened yet. That hasn't happened yet.
AI and one is a VTuber. You know, but okay. So men are given the top 10 spots. They don't earn it by virtue of commanding the attention and interest of the audience. They're just given it because patriarchy. So patriarchy basically works through all of us. It forces our eyeballs. Our eyeballs would be moving towards a female artist, but no, we have to look at the male artist because patriarchal eyeball waves. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Dude, I don't know if you guys
Okay.
heard that part. I'm gonna play that part again because I don't know if everybody heard it. So I'm gonna go back a little bit and play it again. Here we go.
Pit against each other, constantly pit against each other for one spot. You give men 10 spots, you give women 1 spot, and then they fight, and then everyone comments on it and say, oh, that's just how women are. No, that's not how women are. That's how people are when they're not given enough access to visibility or structural power, okay? They don't always know how to...
Okay, they're not given enough access to visibility or structural power. Do you honestly think that men don't compete? Like, and also, if there's an opportunity for the structure or the institution to give someone a hands up, a hand up, who do you think they give it to? Do you really think they give it to male artists? No. So the actual on the grounds, paper trail, you can see it in the accountant books. Discrimination is for women and against men. And yet you still assert that somehow there's some mysterious force that's making men command larger audiences and making this thing fall off in very awkward timing. All right. Look,
No,
that's patriarchy right there.
Men
That's
literally have
patriarchy.
to be men literally have to be more talented to get half the viewership that women who are like somewhat attractive but not necessarily skilled get. Like the idea that women don't get visibility is, I mean, it's like so absurd. I don't even know that there is a point in replying to this in a logical fashion. Just go to any social media site and see it's dominated by women who are completely getting visibility, right? Like completely.
Mhm.
Like the top. Who is Beyonce? Who is that? Does anybody know? Who is Mariah Carey every Christmas? Who is that? You
Wait,
know,
actually,
like
come to think of it, are there any male like pop stars anymore?
well, there are like some, but exactly
I don't
like
even know who they
no,
are.
it's like well, there's a few, but I can't think of any, and most of them are gay. The ones that are popular, not
Or
that
just music,
makes
like
them
big
not
music
men,
stars.
but
Are
no,
there any
there's
male
no.
big music stars anymore? Because I can't even think of
Yeah,
one.
I don't know, Allison. It's Taylor
You just
Swift, Beyonce Knowles, fucking, like anyone who's still working, and even some who aren't working, like Britney Spears doesn't make music anymore, but she still goes viral whenever she feels like acting crazy in front of a camera. The idea that women don't have visibility is just, it's beyond absurd and ridiculous. Like, what world do you live in? I'm sorry, but and this doesn't even mean that these women are necessarily deserving of this visibility, but they get it. They get it. Like you literally don't know, you don't have to know how to sing, play an instrument, dance, or anything. You remember the Olympic breakdancer? Yes, everyone remembers the Olympic breakdancer. Was she any good at her job? Hell no. Did she go super viral? Yes. Maybe for the wrong reasons, but she's super famous now. It's all about
Tua.
it's all
Tua.
about, yeah, the Haktua girl, right? It's
Super
all
famous.
about what gets you clout, and no one is better at chasing clout than women. And they don't even have to take it from anyone. They can literally just do something silly on the internet and they'll get thousands and thousands of views. They know it. It's an entire economy, the attention economy, that we've talked about. Women absolutely dominate that. And you know what? That's okay. Men aren't concerned with that. They'd rather be good at something regardless of the clout it gets them, right? So maybe that's the reason why this guy is caping for women, because when men do something, they know, like, there are definitely pretty boys that aren't necessarily talented that make music, but most of them have to be somewhat. They can't just be pretty. It doesn't work, right? Unless you're like a K-pop star or something. But the women dominate that too. They're Japanese idols dominated by women. It's the same everywhere. It's just the reality. So I don't know. I don't know what this guy's saying. I don't know what he's smoking. It's just a completely different reality. So
Well, he's smoking the universal narrative that we have constructed, and we've constructed out of something that's never been proven. We just decide, it's just as a race, we were just like, yeah, how can we structure, well, let's just go with, how can we choose our destructor? Let's just go with this random crap made up basically as an advertising. Like the war of the sexes was basically advertising, right? I mean, of course, there was the whole feminist movement, but it really took off when it got that advertising concept that the sexes were at war. And now we've structured our entire society around a stupid jingle about men and women, that men oppress women, right? And it's basically just an advertising gimmick, and it's working about as well as you would expect. You know, it's well, I can imagine the aliens come down to like the last man standing on Earth, and so, oh, so what killed you guys? We decided to worship an advertising concept. Didn't work out for us. Well, we all just decided to center the relationship between, to center our view of the relationship between men and women on somebody's advertising copy, and it really got fucked up. The end. This is the stupidest way for a species to die, but we're doing it. I'm pretty sure the aliens are like preparing some plaque in the Hall of Fame somewhere in like the middle of the galaxy or something. Stupidest way for a supposedly sentient species to die. Feminism. Okay.
I think aliens are probably dealing with feminism too. Okay. So let's continue. I guarantee it. Okay, let's keep going.
To act, they don't always know what's in their best interest because they're fighting for so little. So, you know, at any time in pop culture, there can only be one. So, Brittany, Christina, you just go fight so we can figure it out. There can be one blonde, one brunette.
But that's not, how is this patriarchy? Like the majority of their audience is women. I mean, is it patriarchy's fault that the instant a pop starlet gets a wrinkle, her female fans are like, no, she doesn't reflect me anymore. Like, I don't want to be reminded of my mortality. Everything I do is try to deny that I'm going to die. Like is that patriarchy's fault? Right? Like that, literally, that's probably what it is.
I mean, like, if patriarchy is fatherhood, then anyone having a father that creates problems or is subjected to problems, it's the father's fault. It's patriarchy's fault. I guess that's the logic. So Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, see, they had dads at some point. So they were obviously the products of patriarchy if they were fighting for the top spot. And it has nothing to do with the fact that, like, the machine that made them famous, because that's what it is. It's not to say that they're not talented in any way. But the machine that makes them famous is also the machine that takes that away. Like, I don't know, that's like a cycle, and it happens to anyone who enters the show business machine. Patrice O'Neill warned about this years ago, you know, so, but like, we have to blame patriarchy instead of blaming the machine. So
yeah, but I mean, honestly, I'm sure that is a huge element of. Also, in the 80s, weren't there a lot of like female vocalists? I remember.
Sure, there was the Go-Go's, and there was like the Bananarama, and there were tons of bands and acts out there that had men and women, and there were that were women or men. The Cover Girls, it goes on. Expose, huh?
Is that in a lot of in the 80s, a lot of the female vocalists had unique sounds.
Sisters with voices.
Yeah. It's just like all really unique sounds, and now it seems like there is nothing unique. in these women's sounds. So of course they're competing on some of the most superficial factors possible because it's the only thing to distinguish them. And then if you don't pursue excellence in your voice, like if you have, like in the 80s and probably the 90s as well, women pursued developing their unique sound, which meant that they developed a unique fan base, right? Now we have this machine popping out these starlets. They don't seem to, as far as I can tell, I have not heard a single unique voice lately. Maybe a few. But if you all sound the same because of auto-tuning, because you don't want to pursue your craft, you're not going to develop a unique fan base, which means when you age out of being the cute new thing, and that's not necessarily because of men, I'm pretty sure that if you actually look at it, there is some serious
Well, you
female.
either I think what a lot of these pop stars they have to they get a little older, and this goes for the men too, but they end up having to make a choice. They either reinvent themselves to sort of like stay up to date and change with the times, or they just sort of stop doing that and they go silently into private life, right?
Mm.
Or and you know and for example, Prince was an artist that had to reinvent his image all the time. So everyone remembers Prince from like the 80s when the Purple Rain thing and he was dressed like a pirate and all that. But like as if you followed his career over time, he was constantly changing and updating his image and even changing his music to match. Madonna is another one that has done that. Now, she has become like a horrid like hag of a woman because she kept trying to do the young thing and she didn't like, you know, I guess age gracefully into her music career and she didn't want to stop. So that was like the wrong way to do it. I think there is a good way to do it and not so good way to do it. And some people can pull it off and some can't. Like the Rolling Stones, I think they still play. Led Zeppelin, Iron Maiden, these acts they still play and they don't change anything. But if you were built on a kind of image in the same way that somebody like a you know, Britney Spears or Avril Lavigne or whatever, then you'll either have to change your image because you're not the teenage girl anymore, or you're just gonna stop making music, you
Well,
know.
what my point is that, you know, when you're the it girl, I think that it's not necessarily patriarchal pressure, it's also the pressure of your female audience. Like I don't think women like being reminded that death is coming. And when
No,
you
they don't.
start
They
to
don't.
lose that kind of cute young shine, you have the potential of losing your female audience because
Mhm.
you become a reflection of their own fears of mortality. It has nothing to do with patriarchy. It has everything to do with anxiety. And you know, it's understandable. Mortality is frightening, but you can't blame it on men, you know? All right. I'm just
All right.
putting it out there. I think that is
Look,
as an
I get it.
element.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a message from Xeranx who has a membership to the channel. So I'm reading it as though it's a super chat, but it's just a membership comment, I guess. And he said, anyone remember when NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, and 98 Degrees had to differentiate themselves? Remember when Drew Hill, Jagged Edge, and Jodeci did the same? Yeah, don't forget the Bone Thugs and Harmony and Color Me Bad and Tony. So yeah, but like you had to have a sound that made you unique, you know, so that people would want to listen to, like I mentioned, Tony, or Belle Biv DeVoe, or Another Bad Creation, or whatever. And they had like a different sound, so you were getting something different out of it. But it was ultimately, yes, you're competing. But this is the thing that's really funny about this. We're talking about multimillionaire people and we're supposed to feel like, oh my god, won't someone think of the number one hit pop star? It's like, I think she's okay. You know, like I'm not envious of her fame and wealth, but you know, like can we not shed a tear for that? I think she's doing fine.
I think she's fine.
Yeah,
And I
I
don't
think
think we
she's
need to
fine. Yeah,
concern
exactly.
ourselves with her. You know, I don't her problems. I mean, I'm sure they're not pleasant. I mean, everybody has their problems. I'm sure that pop divas have their problems too.
Sure. No
But
one's saying that's not the
they're
case,
not
but
more
like,
they're not like, yeah. I don't think not being picked is one of them. All right.
all right, let's keep going.
Brunette, maybe one goth. You know, you can maybe like one black woman with natural hair, maybe one with like dyed hair, you know, maybe one Hispanic, or sort of like they like in general our
I don't
culture
understand.
allows there to
In the 80s, it wasn't like this. You had female vocalists with unique sound, like very unique sounds. Cher was unique. Whitney Houston was unique. Kate Bush was unique, very unique. You know, and they would pursue Blondie, unique. Like all of them. I guess maybe Madonna was a little more generic, but all of
No, I
them
mean Madonna was in her own way, like in the
unique.
80s, right? Yeah.
Yeah. They all had unique sounds, right? And they pursued
Boy
having unique
George. Oh
sounds.
wait, I'm sorry.
That's not a woman.
Not quite right, but
Not quite, not exactly. But they all had unique sounds. Like you could tell listening to them who they were instantly. So there was plenty of room for people who had pursued their craft and perfected it to create a unique sound, a unique and individual sound that was a combination of their style, their own taste, and their own self-development, and something that they found that people responded to, right? So these women pursued that, and there was ample room for any woman who pursued that and was of interest to the audience. Now, apparently, we've gone away from that, which presumably the 80s is the absolute height of patriarchy. And now all the girls sound the same and they distinguish themselves like Bratz dolls with accessories and hair. Because patriarchy. So in the 80s, when presumably we were at the height of patriarchy, women distinguished themselves through merit. Now, when we're also at the height of patriarchy, they distinguish themselves through accessories. Like, okay, well, let's go back then. Let's go back to the meritocratic patriarchy rather than the accessory patriarchy. Like what?
maybe.
Everything is patriarchy. All right.
All right, super chat from Nobafan or super chat. Rumble Rant. Sorry, Rumble Rant. Shout out to the Rumble gang. Nobafan 21 gave us $1 and says maybe the female millionaire artists should have their millionaire dollars distributed to the unsuccessful female artists. I mean, yeah, how are you going to get equality? All right, let's keep going. I think let me just check my time codes. Yeah, I think we're getting to something else. I think
to be one woman in one space. So this competition makes sense. And what the original song did is it laid bare the fact that this is a problem, that this kind of competition, this kind of beef is a problem. And you know, to be fair, in I think Rhapsody's album, she talks about it a fair amount. Other female rappers are starting to get hip to this fact that the fact that Cardi B fights with Nicki Minaj, fights with Lil Kim, fights with Foxy Brown. I don't even know, right? But just the fact that they always fight against each other is that sense that they're being pitted against each other to serve patriarchal.
What?
To serve patriarchal. Wait. Let's hear that little bit. I just wanted to let him get to the end of that. Okay. So
keep it quiet.
Is that sense that they're being pitted against each other to serve patriarchal domination.
Guy, my friend, my dude. What if, bear with me here, what if all of these like beefs between millionaire musicians
women
is just more marketing to sell albums? What if it's all bullshit? It's kind of like politicians that argue on the the Senate room floor, and they're like posting videos of them owning each other, and it gets them more clout and more. What if this is also that? What if
like WWF? Like
like it's the WWF, except that at least like, the WWF is honest about it. Yeah,
this is the matriarchy pitting these men against each other. Like, no, it's theater.
It's publicity, guys. Yeah, it's good for business. I'm gonna buy the Nicki Minaj album because I heard what she said about Cardi B. I mean, sometimes there are like, and this is the thing, it's not even new. Like, ever since there's been rap, there have been people like making diss tracks on each other. I remember the Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J days, showing my age here, but they were going back and forth like crazy. Obviously, LL Cool J came out on top because Big Daddy Kane doesn't make albums anymore, but that was not a new thing. Like, this has been going on. I remember when there was sometimes there was this one rap group called Third Base. It was a bunch of Jewish guys, and they were going after MC Hammer all the time. Anybody who became mainstream, they would consider selling out. So this is not new. Yeah, and it's good for. I think it's just good for business. I think that, and when you and that, what's funny is what's funny about that, Allison, to bring it back to this whole thing about patriarchy. Blaming the patriarchy is also good for business.
Yeah, because makes women feel right, and it seems like feeling right is the biggest product to sell men or sell women. But I'm just thinking, Metalocalypse, that shady council that's always, and the guy, the patriarch is always like, we wait. Have you ever
I've never seen that show, actually.
Okay, well,
but it reminds me, are they like that secret cabal from the Venture Brothers, the Guild of Calamitous Intent? And they're all like behind, like they're all on screens, but it's just their silhouettes.
Yes, basically. So it's like this shady patriarchal council. Oops, I lost my mint. This shady patriarchal council, and they're all arrayed, and they're all saying, "Let's make Cardi B, let's be catty to Nicki Minaj."
Why not? They probably talk to each other. They go to the same. Yeah, they've all been to the Diddy parties. I'm sure that they know each other intimately.
This is how we rule. But the shady patriarchal council, its long-term plan involves pitting female pop stars against each other. In the end, it all is patriarchy. I just find that amusing because I don't think the majority of men care about any of this.
No. I think you're right. I was going to say, I think there's probably a lot of women that don't care about this either, but there are women they're really drawn to social dynamics, right? Wherever it is, which is why they're, for them, social media is Call of Duty. But and that's why they like watching reality TV, and that's why they like soap operas, because it's all interpersonal social dynamics that are at play. So when women are beefing in the music industry and there's drama there, I think that they're drawn to that because they want to look at it, talk about it, discuss it, gossip, spill the tea, whatever. So yeah, I'm sure of that. I mean, I bet Manifestel probably has something to say about this, and it's probably men's fault in that case too. Another Rumble rant from NovaFan21, who says, for $1, imagine we use his framework to make entertainment for women. Classic female drama, except the women somehow are BBFs and only the men cause problems. Oh wait, that sucks. Yeah. You mean BFFs? Is that what you mean? Yeah.
I'll give if there's any women watching, give you a pro tip. If a woman blames her behavior on patriarchy, you're going to have a shitty time with her, period, as a friend.
Yep.
Like if a woman punches you in the face and blames patriarchy, don't buy it. If she was the one that punched you in the face, not patriarchy. All right, let's keep going.
All right.
Do we have can we skip forward because there's a lot here?
There is I could jump to the next bit. I think let me see what with the 737. He's going to talk about solidarity. Like, I don't know if you want to talk about that. I'll just jump ahead. So let's see, 12, maybe like right here. Let's see. Okay.
Any kind of power system that you're stuck in is you work with somebody who's at the same level as you, who's suffering under the same system, and you communicate. You figure out how you're feeling, you address the issues between you, and then you start punching up. You start doing, high charge uppercuts. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what was that sound? Were you trying to say sure you can? Okay, dude. Yeah, if you can't make the sound, don't make the reference. All right. So basically he's saying that women should come together in solidarity to fight patriarchy together, okay?
Mm.
And good luck.
And
Go ahead.
and wouldn't that mean that
Isn't it
nobody gets to be a
really
pop star?
isn't it interestingly paternalistic that this guy is he is presuming the situation between these super famous, rich, millionaire hip hop stars and
I think
saying,
he's
"Oh, what?"
I think he's just writing the sapphic fanfic in his mind.
Well,
They're
yeah, I
going
mean,
to they're gonna
like
put their
if
grudges aside.
it's like if
It's
I
gonna start with hair pulling, and then they're gonna tear off each other's shirts, and then
yeah.
they're gonna start kissing. Oh boy! Like I think he's just writing the sapphic fanfic in his head. That's all. That's all this is. But you're
I mean,
right. It is paternalistic. Sorry to interrupt there,
oh
but
no, it's super patronizing. Like he thinks, "Oh, if I only could sit these two ladies down, I could make them best friends." And
yeah, but
it's
it's like,
like,
could you imagine him at like female MMA events where women are fighting each other, and she's like, "Ladies, ladies, it's the patriarchy pitting you against each other. Hug and kiss
is it the
and
patriarchy that
celebrate."
also made them millionaires?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. No, 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 no. They made themselves millionaires. It's the patriarchy that makes it so that not every woman can be a pop star millionaire. You see, they made themselves millionaires, but it's the patriarchy that prevents all women from being pop star millionaires. Not talent, not luck, not the right connections, the patriarchy. Without the
Well, of course.
patriarchy, every woman would be Cardi B.
Yes. Were it not for those darn patriarchal music producers, I
But at
mean,
the same time, Cardi B is responsible for Cardi B's success. I presume he would say that. But it's patriarchy that decides that everybody else is not successful. And there's never the connection that there has to be a whole bunch of unsuccessful people in a competitive field for there to be one Cardi B. Right? Because you have to throw a whole bunch of concepts at the audience before you get a hit. So there's by definition, there's always going to be a whole bunch of unsuccessful people. It's like you have to have a whole bunch of losers in order for somebody to win an MMA tournament, right? There's got to be a bunch of people who didn't win. But he like this is as ridiculous as him going to an MMA tournament and declaring to I don't know Ronda Rousey that the patriarchy is why she's not sharing top spot with every other woman there. Like, really? Because I'm pretty sure it's not the patriarchy that's why I'm just using Ronda Rousey because she's the one that comes to mind. Is in the top spot. I'm pretty sure it's because she has the best technique. I don't know if that's true. And she has the best. She's the strongest. She's worked the hardest for it. That's why she's in the top spot. Not because patriarchy excluded all the other women. And you're right. That's incredibly paternalistic. And in fact, it steals the success from these women insofar as being a big pop star is a result of merit. I don't know, maybe it isn't, but it steals the success, the individual success from these women. No, but seriously, I think he should do that. I think he should go to a female MMA event and tell the woman who wins patriarchy is why all other women aren't standing there. All of the women that you fought aren't standing there with you, winning with you.
They should all have won.
They should all have won.
Why do we even have losers and winners?
Why do we have women striving for anything?
Yeah.
Like, why would you have a woman working out, learning technique, getting stronger, doing the whole Rocky mentality? Why would you have a woman striving for anything when it's patriarchy that's preventing all other women from benefiting from her achievements? If only there wasn't patriarchy, all women would win every MMA tournament. If only there wasn't patriarchy, all women would be the top writers and the top producers and the top pop artists. And if only there wasn't patriarchy, women would be literally everything, everywhere, all the time. Like, what the hell? It's just patriarchy that prevents women from being the singularity at the end of all of the universe. Jesus Christ. So, okay, I'll shut up.
Yep.
I apologize.
Okay.
Too
No,
much
it's all right.
caffeine, guys.
And this is beautiful because it's specific. This public, you'd been feeling. It's specific. This is you know this happened. You know that Lord got a voicemail from Charli XCX. But this is also for all women everywhere who try to work it out. And then she says, let's work it out on the remix. So we're listening. This is a very meta moment. This is a very postmodern song, okay? This is a song about working.
Postmodernism.
I love your expression there. You just look utterly like, what?
Yeah, he's like, this is for women everywhere. You mean like the woman carrying water from the well to her village? Like that woman, it's for her? You mean like the woman that's like the cleaning lady in like the mansion? Like, or what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about?
Brian, if it wasn't for patriarchy, they would all be Ronda Rousey, Cardi B,
Yeah,
the woman who did the breakdancing at
like
the Olympics. They would all be, every woman would be every woman. Every woman would be every woman, and we'd all be much better than men.
I'm every woman. It's all in me. Anything you want done, baby.
This is really painfully like I'm gonna be catty. He's really uncool.
No, I know, right?
Like
Yes,
I don't usually say that. Like we respond to a lot.
But he reviews. He's like the least like. I know this is shallow shit, but he is literally the last person I would think would do like reviews of like modern hip hop music. But that's what he does. He's like, have you heard? Hey kids, have you heard the new song from Charli XCX? It's dope.
Surely,
it's
no
cap. So,
but surely he has another source of self-esteem and status in his life. I mean, his house doesn't look skeezy. Like it looks like he's probably a professional of some description. Like you're out of your natural habitat, dude. It just looks weird. You're a spotted leopard at a tea party. You know, it's just this like you go to your boardroom or your surgery or like your doctor's practice, or maybe you're a dentist. Like just go to where you should be.
I know he looks like he'd be working at the Home Shopping Network. It's got the Riz. Okay. All right, let's listen to more.
Through a difficulty by doing a remix together that is also the remix together. All right, it's John C. Reilly, you know, woo, all right, weirdo hair, Adult Swim, whatever. You'd always say, let's go out, then I'd cancel at the last minute. Okay, so we now have.
He's like going through the lyrics, but he's getting into the next topic. So
yeah, let's. Do we have can we jump forward a bit?
Okay, fine.
Do we have to go through the lyrics?
No. The human experience. Okay, let me see. So he's going into the. You know what? I'll go like right here.
This conversation needs to be had. We need to get tired of it. We need to say, "Oh, is this another female pop star talking about it?" Because it's something that keeps happening. It keeps.
So this is like he's talking about. Like people are saying, why is it we're constantly getting this like Billie Eilish fucking, you know, this right here. Hold on, I got the clip. This was what was playing when the Barbie movie came. No, when the election happened and all these women were crying on TikTok to this song. So well, that's the Billie Eilish song. But this is done by a cat, so I just have the meow version, so we don't get like dinged. But he's saying like if people are rolling their eyes and saying why are we getting this, he's saying that we have to have it, and the reason why the music exists is because this thing keeps happening. This this patriarchal phenomenon that's apparently like destroying women. Women are getting Thanos snapped everywhere because I don't know. We haven't gotten there yet. Whatever there is, the singularity. I don't know. The ultimate liberation, you know.
The ultimate liberation, which is that every woman has everything that every other woman has. And patriarchy is stopping us all from that perfect state of being. Oh, good Lord. Just the thought of that makes me want to unalive myself in Minecraft. Like, just, no personal individuation allowed for any woman. We must all have each other's resources. We must all have unique voices that are also all the same, and also get equally amounts of money from an equally large audience. And we all should be equally good at everything, like cooking and mixed martial arts and being a boss babe. And we will all be all that is, that ever was, that is female. You know, it's really funny because I've started to realize that the big thing that really holds women back, and this is what I've noticed in families, is you get these generations of women trying to destroy each other's autonomy, or trying to control each other's autonomy, trying to make decisions for each other, and trying to manipulate each other into those decisions. And it's like, yeah, this isn't men. This is women just not letting other women be different or have things they don't. Okay.
All right, play more.
It's happening. All of these poor women, truly, doesn't matter how famous you are, that they have to think at this level at all times. How does patriarchy pit women against each other? This is it. She doesn't want to be 5 pounds too heavy.
What if you want competition? Like, what about you're presuming every woman wants to baste in this lukewarm pool of vaginal fluids with every other woman, bobbing like dumplings. You know, it's like, fucking what? What if you actually want to differentiate yourself? You want to compete. You want to develop skills, and you want to find out how those skills rank relative to other women.
Yep.
Like, this is no different than, I use the MMA example because it's so clear. This is no different than him going to a tournament where women are testing each other's skills in order to determine their rank based on some external standard, and him saying, no, you all would be on the winner's podium if not for patriarchy. Bitch, please. That's not how it works. The women on the winner's podium are there because they worked for it. And if you insist on this lukewarm, undifferentiated mass of womanhood, you deny women's right to actually achieve relative to other women, to actually compete with other women. Okay? Like, to differentiate from other women. You know, I can't believe that I'm defending like cat fights in pop stars. But it may be unaesthetic to you because you'd rather see them scissoring or whatever fan fiction you're writing in your mind.
He wants to be the guy that gives out he wants to be the guy that gives out the medals.
Yeah, for nothing,
women.
for being a female.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely freaking right, Brian. Another puzzle piece falls into place. It's like J.J. Abrams and that character Ray, and it's not even a character. That Cypher. Basically, they set up this weird incestuous relationship with his own character, in which he just gives her everything because he can. And it's really about the author giving his female character everything, like some kind of God Santa Claus. Because
and they'll blame that on patriarchy too, because a man's doing it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it's J.J. Abrams. He has this female character, and he can give anything he wants to her because he's in charge of the entire fucking world. So he does. And that's what this guy is doing. It's all about being the one giving the medals, giving things to women. Women can't compete. That's outside the scope of men giving them shit.
Yep.
Ugh.
All right.
It's a toxic
There's a little bit
attitude.
more of this, and then I got another clip. But I mean, this is like the main. These are some of the main points.
In a picture with Charli XCX. Too heavy, right? That's in quotes. I was trapped in the hatred and your life seemed so awesome. I never thought for a second my voice was in your head. Give another listen to Solar Power, whatever the name of the album was. I forget what it was called. It was from last year. It was the one where she's jumping over the camera, you know? But this is great because it's like, this is so human. Do you not relate to this? Have you not had someone like this in your life where you look at them and you go, wow, they have all the friends. They've got this great partner. They're just so happy. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to be around them. And then you go and you like hang out with them or you talk to them or you get to know them or you're like, you talk to them 3 years later, you're like, oh no, 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 no. He was cheating on me. I was working like 60 hours a week. It was like terrible. Yeah, like my sister had like a full like car accident.
What the hell is this his life?
No, he's basically saying that this piece of music, that there's a revelation in it that people that you don't know also have problems, and sometimes you have a tendency to only look at what they have that you don't and feel envious and you want to be them, but then you meet them and then you talk to them and then you realize they too have problems and they too struggle with things. This is a radical concept, not at all rooted in some ancient wisdom about the world, but rather you can only find it in the song by Charli XCX, which is a remix of a song. And then you'll learn that. This is what he's saying. Have you never had that? It's like, dude, how old are you? Because you look like you're 49.
Could be,
But
yeah.
well, you
Maybe.
know, he might be younger because like you guys don't age as well as we do. So
Yeah. Oh, throwing shade.
I am a little bit. Okay, but anyway, yeah, so I think there isn't much else in this video. I think that's the main takeaway, is that, you know, patriarchy is enmeshed, and I don't think there's anything else. I could jump to the next thing.
Patriarchy is why women have to compete over things, yo. And but not men, apparently. Like, not men.
Yeah.
And you can't say, well, you know, if women have to compete over being pop stars, men seem to sort of have to compete over whether or not they have a right to a human identity, if you think about it. Because being a real man is something that you don't just get by virtue of existing. You have to actually earn it, and it's in relative comparison to other men. At least that's how it seems to be used in our society. But you know, we can't look at that. We can't look at how much men have to compete in order to get anything relative to women and make a statement about patriarchy and whether or not it really exists. Because we always have to just assume the situation for men is perfect, and then everything that happens to women is a result of men doing something. We can't look at we cannot look at the situation for men and say, hey, actually their situation isn't that much better. That's not allowed. That's misogyny. Or is actually worse. This is what I've noticed in this entire conversation. It's always assumed that women have it worse. You never look at the side for men and say, well, how do we measure these two sides? You're not allowed to measure that side. If you do, you're a misogynist and a men's rights activist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, being a men's rights activist is way worse than being a misogynist.
Oh,
but okay,
yeah?
let's keep going.
Okay.
And like I was out in and out of the hospital that whole, you know, like the whole time, like you don't know what's happening inside of people's heads, because that's the whole point. That's why you have to talk to your coworkers. That's why women have to talk to each other. That's why you have to talk to people and get along with them.
We're still listening to him. I thought we were moving forward to a different one or something.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because I'm really like, I'm really not compelled by this. I'm sure that he's like got 500,000 viewers or something. But he does?
No, it's like 100 and something thousand.
100,000.
100 and
Okay.
something.
So you know, if you're watching us and you're watching this, could you tell us the production values that have left this man with like 10 times the viewership of us? Like what is it that
Well, he's saying the thing that works. Like he's
yeah,
he's towing the line. I mean, he's saying
he's
the right
using the
stuff.
words that unlock the door, that open the
Yeah.
door to people's attention. But really, I
Yeah.
don't think his production values are that much. I don't think he's really do you think he goes and reads in books about
No.
stuff like no. This is pretty shallow analysis, and yet yeah, there you go. Now that's a bit of envy there. I mean,
Yep.
how about this, dude? What about the competition between you and us, right? You know, is that also patriarchy? And why are you winning? Why is the critique of patriarchy winning in the patriarchy competition?
All right, let's
questions.
yeah, let's go to the next bit about self-defense.
Oh my God. So here she's talking about how she's perceived and how a lot of women have to project a certain amount of steeliness, a certain amount of coldness to avoid unwanted advances. That's why I will never in my entire life allow anybody to say around me the expression resting bitch face. I have had so many women try to tell me that it's okay, and I call them bad feminists right to their face because there's no such thing as resting bitch face. There's just face.
He is going to annihilate any possible external standard you can hold women to. He's just going to be, he is the man who's going to dispense all of the medals to all the women at all the time. Okay.
Yeah. He's the mini boss that thinks he's the final boss of feminism because he's like calling out other feminists for actually like saying resting bitch face. Like that's not a thing, even though women know it's a thing. Women not only know it's a thing, but women use it to like keep people away, like specifically as a tool.
Women shall have no judgments upon them, because any judgment might actually lead to differentiating women individually, might lead to women developing an individual sense of self, and he will not have that. Women shall remain a gelatinous, uniform mass of womanness.
Yeah, this guy's definitely got one good man syndrome for sure.
But also, the unified mass of womanness shall also include some penises, because what is a woman? What is a woman? Okay.
All right.
Just have face. Fight patriarchy. Do not use that term. Even if you think it makes you self-effacing and funny, no, you're just supporting it. No one can walk like a bitch. No one has
oh man, this guy's
like at war with, he's literally at war with the concept of female individuation. That's what this is, guys. He wants women to be a homogenous mass. Like any, like any product or valuable product should be as pure and homogenous as possible. You don't want impurities. And women individuating is an impurity. Women competing is an impurity. Women being self-effacing is an impurity, because all of these things encourage women to take a sense of self from their personal actions, and that's not allowed. He is the one who grants you womanhood. Okay.
All right.
Just keep going.
Resting bitch face. Everyone just has a face. Must we perform all the time?
Are you sure
who must perform all the time? And it's just self-defense unless you're building a weapon.
148,000 subscribers. Everybody has a face. Women shouldn't individuate. Patriarchy is why women compete. And there are some women on does he go to the Olympics and be like, you got gold because of patriarchy? All the women should have gold. I could just see him like streaking the Olympic podium. You just got the gold and the silver and the bronze because patriarchy pitted you against each other. Here, I'll throw gold medals to every woman in the stadium. That'll show patriarchy.
All right, I want to hear that again because the camera switched a lot because you kept laughing. So
sorry.
Try to get through this. No, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm going to mute.
All right.
Must we perform all the time? And who must perform all the time? And it's just self-defense until you're building a weapon. She believed my projection, and now I totally get it. Forgot that inside that icon, there's still a young girl from Essex. Which is to say, we forget people's humanity when they reach a certain level of fame. We forget people's humanity when we are jealous of them. Both of these women thought that the other person had what they wanted. Both of these women thought that they were occupying the space that they should.
We forget people's humanity if they're men. Like, and then we just have this absolute obsession with blaming. Does he go anywhere with this?
This is basically, I mean, the end more for the. Well, there's one more thing I could jump to.
Okay,
the
let's
end
jump to
here.
that one more thing because
Okay,
I feel
all right.
like we're being subject to a fatal amount of waffle.
Yeah, it is pretty
Possibly
bad.
blue.
Okay, I got another Rumble rant from Nova Fan. Thank you, Nova
Mhm.
Fan. 21 gives $1 and says, "I pray that one day a feminist accuses him of misogyny so bad he is canceled from the female audience, and his betrayal sends him into a feminist civil war arc." Civil war. Tim Pool has entered the chat and would like to know your location. All right.
Oh, good Lord.
Let's jump ahead to this next bit.
I don't know, being mad at her for whatever, right? Like they're extending grace to each other, and in so doing, they're freeing themselves from that anger and bitterness. And the most important thing about extending grace to other people is you can then extend grace to yourself. And why is this song so powerful? Because fundamentally, Lord is forgiving Lord, and Charli is forgiving Charli. And they're free.
Guy, get your T levels checked. What? You know, this reminds me of Fat Bastard in Austin Powers Gold Member at the end when he I think that was at the end of that it might have been the second one where he says there's someone I have to forgive myself, and he's crying. It was a comedy bit. It was a comedy bit that he was doing. Yeah, so this is the max cringe of this video, I think, unless there's something I missed. Also, are you arguing with the
No, that
virtual chat right now?
we haven't got that. For whatever reason, we're no longer getting the big bum rush of doom scrollers.
Well,
guess YouTube has
it's
finally
Christmas
plugged that link.
vacation for most people, so
Oh yeah, so they're not like terminally online like us. Well, I mean, we have a business to run, so there you go. That's our excuse. Okay, so is this done now?
yeah, unless you want to do the other.
Sure. When do you have
Well,
to pick up Lindsay pretty soon?
Soonish. But I
Okay.
mean, like, there's only a couple of time codes that you gave me from
Then
the
let's
other
do it.
video. So just tell me the numbers and I'll just jump to
Okay,
that.
so let's go to the big one. The big one, pull up the big one, and we will go to 1946. Although the time code that we've got is fairly long, so
Wait, this is a different
1946 to 2830.
video.
Yeah, it's a different video. So 1936.
Oh,
46.
I need to get the other video. Hold on.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Sorry about that.
No, it's
I guess
all right.
I can. You know, honestly, I don't find this guy to be.
You don't think he's an intellectual powerhouse?
Well, I don't think he's particularly. This is a different video. It's the long video.
Yeah.
I don't think he's particularly like. I really don't think he has the women's best interest in mind.
No way.
And you can see this.
Either.
All you have to do is change this philosophy in a different context. Olympics.
Okay, so
every woman on the podium.
Yeah.
Every woman on the podium is there because patriarchy has pitted her against other women. Okay? So how do women achieve in the context of what he's suggesting? Achievement requires competition. It requires people to lose, right? It requires people to be better than each other. You know, these two female stars are competing over each other's audiences, regardless if they forgive each other or kiss and make up. and make out, they still are in competition with each other. That still exists, right? And it's the reason why they have got what they have. That competition is why they have the success they have. Okay, because without that competition, you don't have all of the ideas being thrown at the audience to find the one that sticks. Okay, so it's like he has an issue with seeing women in competition with each other. It's like the two mommies are fighting. It's like he doesn't want to see that, but it's like that's how women achieve. That's how women individuate. That's how women become themselves. And he doesn't like that. Well, that's on you, dude. Like, you deal with that shit. I mean, after watching this, I want to see Lord and Charlie get into it in a freaking fight. I want them I want to see them assert their independence and their autonomy, right? From each other, from other women in that realm. I want to see them become their own people, because this is what he is actually against. I don't know if he knows he's against it, but this is what he's actually against. He's against the idea that women differentiate from other women, that women be a heterogynous. I'm sorry. Hetero.
What are you saying?
Hetero. I'm trying.
Put it another way. Put it another way.
That women are not all the same thing.
They're
That
not
women aren't
homogenous?
a homogenous mass.
Okay. Yeah, hetero wasn't going to take you anywhere productive.
No, not in this context.
Just keep it real gay. Okay, so this is what's the time code? Oh, I got a super chow from Great Indoors, so I'm gonna read it really quick. $5, and he says, "Wait, if resting bitch face is such an offense towards women, then what is brat or girl? I've heard from that one actress that was a real life PhD, so she's smart. From The Big Bang Theory, that the word girl really is offensive towards adult human females. There is a shorter term for adult human female, but I guess that's reserved for a wider demographic now." You talking about the chick that used to play Blossom? I can't remember her name, but she was on Big Bang Theory. I don't watch that show. It sounds like trash, but all right. Thank you, Great Indoors, for that. And yes, you have a point. And then Zarek gave us $5 and says he has created his own trap. Even when he realizes his misstep, he won't realize how far off the target he actually is from being the proper venomous ally. That is to say, not an ally at all. Read this in Croc Hunter voice for greater effect. Who's Croc Hunter? Oh, you talking about who are you talking about, the guy, the crocodile guy that passed away? I can't do Australian. Okay. So there you go. Allison, you're muted, it seems.
Yes, let's finish. Let's do it. Let's listen.
Right. So what time code am I starting from?
1946.
Across the entire country, our public education system is failing our students. It's failing working class and middle class kids by telling them they do not deserve to have higher cultural capital. Keep all of that at the top, at Princeton, at Harvard. Make sure that all the people who understand Barnett Newman don't come from reasonable means. The joy of life of humanities and this source of power. So that's why I do this channel, okay? Because I want to be able to share this stuff that I acquired through my own hard work, but also just because I had a dad who went to Princeton, right? I mean, not everyone has a dad who goes to Princeton. Statistically, few people do. So
I've never bragged about myself by referencing my dad. That is different. Like, continue.
The education system sucks because of the people who work there. And they're all feminists. So I don't know how you're going to unpack that one.
If I learn these things and I share them, that's one way to help diffuse the way that this cultural capital is kept and used as a tool to reinforce wealth gaps and societal differences. Brat by Charli XCX. How does it all tie in? Well, I think that, in my opinion, that is necessary to understand why this album is so great. Because I think that
We're
is
not
one
going to be
of
hit by a
the
copyright strike for this. Pretty sure. So
Uh,
let's just
yeah. I mean, what's he
just
gonna do?
blaze
Fair
through it.
use and all of that. I
Fair
mean,
use.
like, if it takes you forever to make a point,
Yeah.
that's not my fault. I mean, you
No,
know,
it's
this is
not.
how long is this time code? Like,
I think his point was that people don't have access to libraries
mm,
or something. Oh,
like
wait.
it's like a 10
Other
minute.
people don't have fathers who went to Princeton.
Well, first of all, he thinks that there's a problem with the fact that people are unequal. And this is like a fundamental problem with people who think that equality is like the highest good, because we aren't equal and that should just be okay. And for most people, it is okay. You know, it's sort of like what there's this thing going on right now on the internet where people are all talking about the importance of like high paying, status tech jobs and engineering jobs and STEM fields and all of that. And this is something that we've been, because feminists are always crying about women not being in STEM fields. And I'm just sitting here like, yeah, not everyone can do those things. What about the overwhelming majority of people that are not high skilled that want jobs, and they're perfectly satisfied working with working class positions, you know, in stuff that keeps the infrastructure running. And you don't learn that stuff in college because college doesn't really prepare people for the real world. And it hasn't been doing that for a long time. The only thing it seems to do is create activists. And once in a while, one of those people or one or two of those people become like, you know, rich entertainers like Kanye West or something, who went to my school, you know. But like most people who went to my school, they're just working retail or something. So, or they just married a guy and they just pumped out a bunch of babies and they're like 8 grand and 80,000 in debt. So I don't like, people get into this whole thing about, well, look at the education system. It's not serving people. Well, firstly, it's not serving boys. Firstly, it's serving girls better, but it's not really serving either of them. Because again, when women and men, women are the most educated group of people in the country, and most of them are not doing anything with it except accruing debt. And ultimately, they marry a dude, and they both end up paying off her debt, or he ends up paying off her debt. So the issue is that we overvalue education in general, and we way overvalue the quality of education we currently get. And he is approaching this as though those things have value and saying, well, we should be teaching people the right things. But we're not even teaching people. Like, kid scores are in the toilet. If you look at the kind of shit that a sixth grader had to do in like 1910, it was probably way more advanced than it is today. So like, we overvalue it. We don't actually use it correctly. Most people don't make use of it. You can learn everything you want to know on the internet. And I know the Department of Education is panicking at that idea. And this guy, who's like way behind the curve, is still trying to convince us that that means something. If you haven't guessed, I'm a little resentful that I went to college because it didn't do anything for me. Everything I learned about art, even, I learned most of that on my own. So why did I go to school? Because I was told to. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm sympathetic to that position.
Yeah. Should I play more of this?
Yeah, sure. I think that play it, respond to it. I will listen and I'll give you my final analysis. But in the interest of actually getting through this, I think maybe I'll reserve comment to the end. The end is at 28 minutes. So,
all right. Yeah, I know. This is going to be long.
Yeah, it
main
is.
themes of the album. It's in praise of tastelessness It's in praise of tasteless people. It's in praise of people who we often dismiss, even the form of the art itself. It's this questioning, what is the value of I'm your number one, I'm your number one Dutch? Okay? Is there value in it? Or should we just let it go? Should we just say no, look down on it, and Oh, also, did you notice this? Did you notice? So that's the inside cover of Brat. Right?
How dare you compare that album to Thriller? How fucking dare you? Like, are you kidding me? Dude. Okay. So this dude appears to be celebrating this kind of music as a deconstruction. Of course it is. That's all we do now, guys. No, there's nothing new under the sun. Everything has to just deconstruct. And so these women, this is why music is terrible on purpose today, because they're just deconstructing. It's postmodern and all of that. And then he goes, oh, look, she's taking the Thriller album, which was like one of the best and highest grossing, best-selling albums in all of music history. I'm sure there's been some since, but I remember when this was the record-breaking thing to beat back then. And he's saying it's just like that. Okay. All right. This guy is a music critic. I get it.
It's both of them lying down on their sides. I don't know if that was on purpose, but that's pretty cool. Because I do think Brat belongs in the discussion. Well, he was the first to do it. If you know who that was, tell me in the comments. Okay, so, but the album's not only about that, okay? If it was only about that, that'd be fine. It's also about her. But more importantly, it's about her life as a pop star. So it's partly about like kind of trashy, tasteless women and the way they're perceived. And again, when I use the term trashy and tasteless, I'm intentionally using provocative terms because she is emphasizing their humanity and value. But it's about being a sort of minor pop star. Now it's kind of a random thing. When I listen to music the first time, I listen to it at the gym while I'm on the elliptical, and I watch a movie on mute. ADD, never been diagnosed. Can't be proven. I was a little too old to get properly medicated, unfortunately. But the movie Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping by Lonely Island, starring Andy Samberg, came on, and I think this is a really good comp as well, because that's also a sort of funny look at people who appear to be tasteless and finding their humanity. But to actually tie it together to a more important.
Is this how these people operate? Like, you put out trash, okay? Because I listen to her music. It's trash. I don't know why people like it. And I can't just chalk it up to me being old, because I can still appreciate stuff from any time. I just think it's bad. And then what happens is a person like this has to come out and they have to weave a tale of postmodern commie gobbledygook to explain why actually this is good and important. And you're just really like unintelligent, uncultured swine that doesn't actually get it. And that's what I'm getting from this. This is what's happening. I don't know if I can subject myself to this. And like, who the fuck watches a movie on mute? It's not ADHD. You got something else. You might do things. I mean, syphilis? I don't know what it is.
Syphilitic
Who does that?
insanity.
And the Lonely Island, like the Lonely Island is literally, they make joke songs. It's like somebody like overanalyzing it, Weird Al Yankovic, and saying, oh, I see, he's speaking about the plight of Rwanda with his song Eat It because they were starving or something, right? No, it's a joke song. That's it. Like, come on, man. I can't stand like these rhetoricians that come out and they like just like vomit talking points and postmodern commie gobbledygook all over the place because they want people to think that they're smart. It's exhausting. Why did you subject me to this?
To a classic.
What?
I just said sorry. Okay,
I mean, I don't think
honestly,
I don't think I'm
I think
gonna
you have
get
a point.
anything
Like,
out of this.
sorry, Quran Strong. I think you could have, or the Great Endurers. Sorry, I think you could have narrowed it down.
No, Thriller is not tasteless. So like, here's another thing I want to point out. This is, and okay, we can narrow this down and just make this about this particular Brat album by Charli XCX. But I think this is an issue across all of our art, not just music. It's all becoming self-referential. It's all about the self and self-worship. That's why she's looking in a mirror in the music video. That's why she's making music about music artists, and she's really just talking about herself. That's what the Barbie movie was. That's what all of this girl power, girl boss garbage is. It's all self-referential, or it's men giving those women what they think they want in terms of making them into goddesses and little idols for them to worship. And so I can't say anything about this with any degree of, like, I don't know, like, I can't take it seriously. It's just toddler level attention span bullshit. Women just talking about themselves, and they have to make up shit to be bothered by because their lives are actually too good to complain about. Like, again, won't someone think of the pop star? I just can't. I don't have it in me. I don't care. You're rich, make good music. Michael Jackson, on the other hand, he was making music about stuff. Like Beat It was about like where he grew up. It was like there were the gangs, and he was making music about gang violence. And this was before like the rap artists came out, like NWA, and did the same thing. He was doing it first with pop music. He was like Thriller was like about, he liked horror films, so he wanted to make something that was sort of a tribute to that, right? The album, I mean, he made, and he was all over the place. Like a lot of artists, they almost exclusively sang about love and romance, almost. But Michael Jackson was trying different things, and I mean, Billie Jean was about like some tabloids and how, they were trying to frame him for something or whatever. Like he was being attacked by the media. And Michael Jackson was always fighting with the media and music producers. And there are some that say that the allegations that came out against him were constructed. I mean, they were constructed by the music companies and the media to destroy his reputation, destroy his life, because he was calling those people out, because he was trying to buy, I think he was trying to buy the rights to the Beatles music from, I think it was Apple or something. There was like this big legal battle, and then he like died when he was about to win. So like he wasn't doing, I mean, it's pop music, which you could say is lowbrow because it's made to appeal to as many people as possible, but that doesn't mean it was garbage music, like this stuff is like the equivalent of a slam poem put to a beat. I think slam poetry is the lowest form of art, personally. But
Yeah, honestly,
I,
let me just switch up my dog cam to my other cam. Like the thing is that people have a lot of condemnation for like what they would consider lowbrow pop art. But if you actually learn like the fundamentals of storytelling, it's surprisingly well crafted. A lot of it. Like I mean, once you get to a certain point with understanding storytelling,
yeah,
you can see even somebody like I complain about J.J. Abrams, and in fact, I'm still salty that on New Year or on Christmas I was about to be able to complain about J.J. Abrams, and then this person came in and made it all about men playing games. You remember that?
yeah, no, I was there.
Yeah. I was like, "What? Wait, I just wanted to bitch about J.J. Abrams, and you're bringing freaking men who
Well,
play games."
we should have made the title appropriate, like
Yeah,
the Jar Jar Abrams bitch fest instead of
yeah. I mean, but the thing is that Jar Jar Abrams actually does have certain skills that makes his stuff compelling, and until you can look past your personal taste, you really can't see the merit of a lot of things. And I think I don't know what the hell. It really sounds like to me, based on what you're saying, Brian, that there is no actual merit to this album.
I mean, I didn't listen to the whole album. I just heard the one song. But like when I listen to this guy talk about it, he has to, it's like he can't talk about the music on what is actually there. So like let's say, let's say this is the music and this is all outside of the music. He's got to talk about all of this to make this matter. And that's how I know it's fake, because he's basically got to say, well, you have to understand that we live in a patriarchal capitalist society, American imperialism and materialism and blah, 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 and patriarchy and that and heteronormativity and cisgenderism and all these other isms and obias. And that makes the song good, actually. Like at the end, if you absorb all of this other crap, suddenly you're going to appreciate this thing. And it's like, no, because if it doesn't relate to people immediately, then it isn't human, then it doesn't work, because you're constructing a bunch of artificial garbage around it to make it appear real so that we're fooled by it. But you're like constructing a simulacrum of like the human experience. And the truth is that a woman who is a multimillionaire pop star that everyone knows, that gets to travel and do interviews and all of that, cannot make songs about herself and have other people relate to it. It just isn't relatable. And so this guy has to make a bunch of shit up to make it relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just, as you're talking about that, I was thinking about how one thing that the church did, because we're talking about basically religious expression. Let's face it. Like this is not about, it's about making everyone conform to a truth you can't question, just like a lot of other religious stuff. But my point is that despite that having that aim, a lot of religious art actually pursues beauty. So it tries to present something in a beautiful way with this kind of a message, right? This is at least looking back throughout history, that the church was commissioning these beautiful things like architecture, artwork, music, like to speak the word of God. And yet here we have, it's like these people, they find a cow patty and they get a bunch of toothpicks with sticky notes on them, and they stick them in the cow patty, and the sticky notes say, this is a commentary on patriarchy, or this is a commentary on transphobia. And then you're supposed to look at this cow shit, smell the cow shit, palpate the cow shit, and say, oh, this is a glorious experience. I feel like I'm being elevated to the liminal through this cow shit because of the sticky notes. Like, and it's like, it's an interesting process. It's something. It's a thing that's happening. It's one of the many things that have happened in history.
Yep.
Okay.
But I should we play the rest of this? Because I do have to go soon. I think we should.
Yes. Just finish it up.
Look. Okay. All right.
I will try not to comment.
Of world cinema, Agnes Varda's Cleo de 5 à 7, Cleo from 5 to 7, I think is the actual, like, this album, when it's not about taste, it is about Cleo de 5 à 7. If you've never seen it, it's this great movie about, written and directed by a woman, about a middle-aged pop star. When I say middle-aged, I think she's like 31, 32.
Written and directed by a woman. Can you say the woman's name?
It doesn't matter. It's a woman.
It doesn't matter. It's a woman.
You should watch it. I said it's a woman. A woman made it, so you have to watch it now, guys. Yeah, what are you, a sexist? What do you hate women?
Like, she says it was written and directed by a woman. What's her name? What is her individual persona? Like, who is she as an individual?
Her name is Woman.
Her name is
Hear her
woman.
Roar. Hear her produce.
The gelatinous mass of woman has produced.
Well, he clearly just doesn't remember her name, but he knows it was done by a woman, and that's what matters. So.
does it not matter?
Who
Like what
lives
her
a
name
kind
is?
of silly, frivolous life, who makes kind of tasteless pop songs, who thinks that she might have some debilitating disease. So it's about her life when she's waiting for her test results. And it's just this wonderful meditation on like womanhood and age and female solidarity and the life of a minor pop star. It all goes together so well. And when I'm talking about things going together so well, like this album, like the first song connects to the last song, right? 360, 365. And I think this all goes together because the first song, 360, in my opinion, is about her, but it's also about her universality, about the way people who see her
Oh
see
God,
themselves, and also
this
about
is the low effort narrative trick. Start where you began and people will think you've made a story. Okay.
Great
Yeah.
indoors. Can we not? Can we stop here? I think I get it.
Yeah. It's
I
okay.
don't. I
Great
don't.
Indoor. Inform
I
us of
can't do it. I
his
can't do. I
point.
can't do it. Just give me
What
like. Can
is
you
the
just?
point that he has here?
There is like I'm just dying inside. I'm dying inside.
What
It's
is the
about
point?
her, but I think we should all experience her. What? Listen to the album, and it starts where it ends. It's so genius because it's a woman, and that's all you need to know.
Oh, okay. So he has clarified the point. He has given us some mention.
Yeah.
Brian. So in other words, the way this guy is talking about the album is akin to the lefty meme. Walls of text explaining the meaning of crap you see on the screen.
Yeah, because it's not based in real truth. Like the
Yes, it's not
beautiful is
beautiful.
it's the beauty is
It's
the
not
truth.
compelling.
Okay. And beauty is also human, and it is like it's universal. We all know it when we see it. Okay. If you have to like convince us that what we're looking at is actually not shit, then it's shit.
Yes,
you
that's
have
what
to
I'm
talk
saying.
us into it with rhetoric and like
Yeah.
spin and all of this, and that's what he's doing. That's why it takes him this is he's reviewing an album. It takes an hour and 21 minutes because he has to post the meme, which is essentially him reading it out.
Okay. But that's exactly what I was saying with my cow patty analogy.
Yeah.
The cow patty is beautiful because of all of the sticky notes that have been applied to it, all of the context and deconstruction. It's like, no, it's a cow shit. It can be very useful if it's well rotted, but it's still a cow shit. Like, this is still crap. Why don't any of you think that you should do what the church did, which was use beauty to express truths, at least truths in the context of that religion, right? Why don't you do that? Is it because you guys are actually in a war with merit? Because somehow you're terrified of an aspect of yourself that strives and achieves and can fail? Or making mistakes or being wrong? Like, what is and this is the thing, like, the left can't meme, and I don't even know if I want to call this the left. These people who basically function by exclusion, they can't meme because they can't trust their audience. Like, they have to do a wall of text because they have to control any possible interpretation that might be outside of their hands. You get what I mean? They have to close off all the doors. The audience must come to a very specific conclusion. That's why they have to write an encyclopedia. If Brat was a beautiful piece of work, you wouldn't need an hour and 20 minutes to explain why it's worthwhile. Everybody would regard it as worthwhile because it had merit, because it was like Kate Bush. She had her own unique style, her own unique things she wanted to say. No one would say that her albums lacked merit, even though she was quirky, Yeah. Because, they had something to say, and you could see the passion in what she had to say and how she pursued developing her voice. You don't need an encyclopedia to explain the worth of Kate Bush or Whitney Houston or Cher or even early Madonna. Like, you don't need an encyclopedia to explain the worth of their work because they have worked hard to make it beautiful and accessible, right? Like this is, and why do you people not, why, like, you point, and this is my point. You point to the Christians and you're like, oh, the history of the church, they're all tyrannical. But at the very least, when they were trying to explain themselves, Christians did it beautifully. Like they made beautiful architecture, they made beautiful liturgical chants, they made beautiful art. I mean, have you ever seen the 16th chapel? I've never seen something like it in my life. I mean, when you go there and you look up, it is like you are looking into another reality. It is unbelievable. And that was commissioned by the church to do. Why can't you do that? Like, what is the problem with our current religious fanatics? I'm not going to say religious, I'm going to say religious fanatics, the left religious fanatics, that they completely eschew the idea of incorporating their truths or alleged truths into beauty. Like, you get what I'm saying? What I'm frustrated about?
Yeah.
Anyway, like it's like they hate beauty itself, but why? Why do you hate beauty? Why do you want beauty to be in the stick-it notes? Okay.
All right. So I'm all like really out of time, but
Oh yes.
the Great
Okay.
Indoors said something about playing a 1 minute clip.
Yeah.
So I will. We'll just do that, I guess. No, I gotta find it. Where is the video that you sent me? Brat Summer
You had it
refuses
up
to die.
briefly. It was the
I
12th
did,
yeah.
and I closed the tab because I'm trying to save my computer's RAM. Okay, so
2
and
minutes
it's
45 seconds to 3 minutes 32 seconds.
all right, okay, all right. I'm gonna play it from here.
Interestingly, my daughter is a huge Billie Eilish fan. That's I commissioned that painting by Velvet Geek. Look him up on Facebook or on Instagram. He does black velvet paintings of pop icons. I got that for her for Christmas.
Not a woman, huh?
Huge fan.
Is that supposed to be Billie Eilish? It doesn't really look like her, but
It doesn't look like her?
no.
It's
No.
interesting because the thing is with the hyper realistic art, I know a lot of people like it, but in some ways it's
Her features are too sharp, and she's like jawed up like a Ubisoft game, like modern video game. She's a modern video game woman. Square
Okay.
jaw. Okay, Billie Eilish is kind of like got a baby face in a way, and she looks really sleepy all the time.
All the albums of Billie Eilish, ukulele, all that. And so we've been talking about this. And then she sent me a message saying, Dad, have you compared it to Super Freaky Girl by Nicki Minaj? I'm such a progressive dad. I didn't think, oh my God, my daughter is listening to Super Freaky Girl by Nicki Minaj. I'm a proud poppy because I hear that and I go,
He's super progressive, Allison. It's the only way to be. It makes you a better person than everybody else. Don't you know?
No,
right.
but it's just like I'm hip and with it. I'm hip with the youngsters. I'm like, I'm super progressive dad. I'll let my daughter have sex with 100 men in one day.
This
Go,
video
girl.
is busting
This is
for
what
real,
you
for
want.
real.
Ugh.
Yep. Okay. All right.
that's super
That
good
was
media
just really
analysis
hard.
right there. Understanding the value, how important it is to be graphic with sexual female desire and power. Anyways, that doesn't really matter.
How old is
Well,
your
you like
daughter, dude? That's a
Yeah,
bit worrying.
exactly.
Yeah, is she like 14 or something? Like what?
Yeah. I'm hoping that. Oh, let's see. He might. Yeah, Jesus. If he's in his 40s, maybe she's in her 20s. Because that's sort of.
Mm.
Can we just go back a little? What the
He
hell?
He doesn't say how old she is.
No. Just go back. I want to hear exactly what, like about
right.
320.
I'm not getting out of here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Analysis right there. Understanding the value, how important it is to be graphic with sexual female desire and power. Anyways, that doesn't really matter because this song,
Oh,
what
oh,
it does,
good
how it changes.
Lord.
Sexual female power.
Yeah, in the context of your daughter? Goonie
Yeah.
fetish man. All right. I think I'm done here. I'm let's
There's 10
I don't,
seconds left. Let me just play the 10 seconds.
is it gonna have
Changes
any?
is so minimal because it's not even that the lyrics are really different. The original song itself, produced by Dare, sort of famous kind of sleazecore guy, is really raw. And there's like one verse that's repeated.
Okay. I mean, that was the time code that he gave me, so I guess that's
Okay.
what we wanted to hear.
I
3 minutes and 32 seconds. Yeah,
So when
I
I
think we
predict-
heard the
I
bit
just-
we needed to hear.
I was just being humorous when I said that this is the kind of progressive dad who'd give his daughter a high five for taking 100 dicks in a night. But I didn't realize. I think I was right, and I really don't like this dynamic, guys. Yeah, like I don't like listening to a father talk about his daughters needing to be his desire needing to be validated and progressive and out in the open. There's just something a little bit unsettling about this.
Yeah.
His great indoors. I think his daughter is indeed underaged.
All right.
Oh, okay. Well, that is one of the videos of YouTube. 143,000 subscribers.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Well, that is something that we watched. Okay. We got through 3 videos, so I'm gonna just do this really quick. I don't know what I can add to that. I have a lot of stuff in my mind.
Yeah.
Need to unpack. I personally, as a daughter, I'm glad my father is a shitlord, sort of like me. But I don't think I'd want him to publicly say things like this about me. I think I would find that very uncomfortable and intrusive. But be that as it may, we'll leave it there. If you want to support the show, feedthebadger.com/support. Make sure that we can continue to bring what I am increasingly realizing is a breath of common sense to an increasingly bizarre world. Feedthebadger.com/support. I was running out of words to describe it, Brian.
Fair enough.
And if you want to send us a message anytime after the show is over, you could do so at feedthebadger, or send us a tip, feedthebadger.com/justthetip. And with that tip, you are welcome to send us a message. So once again, feedthebadger.com/support to support the show. Feedthebadger.com/justthetip to send us a tip. And with that tip, any kind of message that you would like to tell us.
All right. Do you have any thank yous to do?
Okay, yes, you're right. You're right. Sorry, I'm a little discombobulated by that.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just go back? Like, can we go like a few modesty steps back? Would that be possible?
No. We have
Like-
to liberate. We haven't liberated hard enough. We have to liberate more, but only women.
Yeah, we liberate women and then allow women to do whatever they want, and then we blame men for, like, this is the thing. Like, we've liberated women, so we get people like Lily who who sleep with 100 men in a day, and then we blame the men.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that liberating women always seems to come with blaming men for the consequences? It seems like it's not very what is the right word for it? It is not very long-term sustainable. All right, so I'd like to thank the great indoors because he put in $635 to the hat.
Thank you. Come again.
Which means that we have funded the main goal, the subsidiary goal, which is the Trudeau tax, plus the goal for Brian's bonus, And now
Woo!
maybe we'll put a little bit more on, see if we can get a bit more for Brian and a bit more for Hannah. So let's keep going. And yeah, it's this is definitely the a good video to succeed on, because obviously patriarchy makes us successful.
Yeah.
We're on the winner's podium, as it were, because of patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to conclude this. Don't sexualize your daughters, guys.
I'll just take it and take us out then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you guys like this video, I mean the one we responded to, not the original, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we discussed in the show today. I think I just have the link to the one video because I didn't know we were going to respond to others, but you can find the other ones on the channel, so there's a link in the description for that. And please, please, please share the video because sharing is caring. Thank you so much for coming on today's episode of Maintaining Frame, and we will talk to you guys in the next one. See you guys later.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.